Hi there, listeners and learners, and welcome to the last of the 5 radio programs in our series on development studies. Again, I'm Mims Low. Now, in today's lesson, we're going to talk about how to carry out research. Research is a necessity in all subject fields. A group of students, Clara and her friends, visits the city of Windhoek to learn about how to carry out research. The head of the research unit, Mrs. Erickson, is addressing them.
Good morning. Welcome to the city of Windhoek.
Good morning, Mrs. Erickson.
Well, I was asked to address you on carrying out a research by your teacher. What's your topic?
Our topic is local transport is very poor.
Good. The first thing that you have to know is that you must decide what the problem is. Be specific. For example, what sort of transport are you referring to? Who is the transport for? When should the transport occur? What do you think is important when you know what your research question will be?
I know. It's the planning of your research.
That's correct, Chanel. To approach this, you should follow the following steps. What are the things you need to know? How are you going to find the information? And when are you going to carry out the research? You need to formulate a research question or a hypothesis.
What is a hypothesis, and what methods can you use to collect information?
Mimi, a hypothesis is a statement about something that you predict or believe to be true. And to collect information means you can make use of observation, counting, interviews, as well as questionnaires.
When is the best time to do the research?
That's an excellent question. Firstly, you will need to decide on which days of the week you are going to do it. The time is also essential. Obviously, you have to go early in the morning and then again in the evening during weekdays. Can you tell me why a Sunday won't be effective?
Most people don't work on a Sunday.
That's good. The next step is to go to the bus stop and record information. For example, the time the bus arrives, the time it was supposed to arrive, whether it was full or half full. Were the people left waiting? Was the bus comfortable and clean? The last thing that you'll need to do is to consider the results and write a report.
What should our report reflect on?
Well, Chanel, the report should reflect on a statement of how you decide on the problem and your research questions. A statement of where and when you observed the buses, a statement of how you recorded the information, an analysis of the results of your observations, and the conclusions as to whether there's a good or bad bus service in your area. That's basically it.
Oh, okay. So, thank you so much for your time, ma'am. I believe we've all learned a lot today.
You're welcome, dear.
Listeners and learners, I hope you have enjoyed listening to the discussion about conducting research. Let's recap. Deciding on the problem or the topic is the first thing to do when starting a research investigation. So in your problem, you must include the area where your research will take place. Once you have decided on your research problem, you need to decide on the research questions that you will need to ask to conduct your research. That means you need to start to plan your research. You'll have to decide what are the things you need to know. These are the research questions. Then you will have to decide, you will use your aims and objectives to help you phrase your research questions. Well-formulated research questions or hypotheses must address the causes, effects, and a solution to the problem. Next, you will decide on how are you going to find out the information. There are a number of ways to find information. For example, observation, counting, interviews, and questionnaires. Next, you then decide on when you're going to do the research. After all these decisions was made and everything is in place, your next step will be the action of conducting the research. And after you have conducted the research, you will now need to consider the results of your research and write a report. So your report should reflect on a statement of how you have decided on the problem and your research questions, a statement of where and when you will do the research, a statement of how you recorded the information, an analysis of the results of your information collection or observations, and then the conclusion as to whether there is a good or bad bus service in your area. Listeners, from me, Mim Slow, and the Namcol production crew, thanks for joining us again. Take care.
This program was brought to you by NAMCOL with funding from the Ministry of Education, Arts and Culture and the Commonwealth of Learning.